Shelton, what have you seen from Castro at short, and what's your confidence level in there?
My confidence level's high. I mean, I think you saw the play he made last night in the 8th. With Tim Anderson running down the line in a 1-0 game, and he's got to make that transfer, so confidence level's high. I think the one thing with Rudy that if you look back, he played a lot of short in spring training. Because we had that competition at second, we had a bunch of guys there, and second base defense was never a concern for me with Rudy. And the days we gave Oneil off, Rudy ended up going to short and playing in those days just to get the at-bats. So he actually got a ton of reps there in spring training, which makes me feel a little bit better. If it was a situation where he hadn't, I may be a little bit more concerned just because on that side of the ball, you have to move your feet, you have to continue to do different things that's different at second. But my confidence level is high that he's going to catch the ball.
Shelby, will he get the majority of time over there, or how do you plan on giving it up?
I think in the early going, he'll get the majority. We'll probably see Bay over there at some point too, just depending on matchup and moving guys around or just actual off days. I mean, we're 3 days into a 17-day stretch, so it's not like he's going to go straight Ripken and play the whole time through. But we'll get Bay over there too.
Shelton, go ahead, Kevin.
Have you had a chance to talk with Oneil? What's his spirits like after the surgery?
Yeah, I saw Oneil last night before the surgery just to go and make sure that Rafa was with him, but he needed anything, his family needed anything. I mean, last night obviously in a different state. Was able to FaceTime him with him this morning. Raul Hernandez and I FaceTimed with him this morning, and he was smiling and was in better spirits. I think having a little bit more idea of what was going on and how it was going about, he was in a better sense. But excited once he's to the point he's out of the hospital, getting him back around our group, because I think it's important when you have guys that are on the IL, they're around your group to be part of the club.
In terms of the timetable, I know you prefer to miss no games, but considering it's 4 months and it's not seasoning, do you take any solace in that there's a possibility he can return and play a significant chunk of the season?
Yeah, my solace in the fact that he's okay. I mean, putting a timetable on anything right now, I mean, I know it's 4 months, but saying, hey, specifically it's gonna be that long. The biggest thing for me today is when we FaceTimed and he smiled, because I mean, you guys have been around, that smile's infectious. So just to see that out of him a little bit, that's where I'm more concerned. I'm more concerned, I mean, we're talking about a 24-year-old kid here. And when you have children, which some of you guys do, and I do, that have one that's 22, my concern is more about the kid than worried about a timetable or what's going on.
Well, Michelle, you seem to, I think you said the phrase you used yesterday was, at this time it's this and we're still testing. I guess there's some sense of relief that it's just that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday we didn't know. It was so soon after, because it happened in the 6th inning. It was so soon after, and I think at that time we knew that there was the fracture. But I mean, with anything, when you have surgery, until you get in there, you never know what's going to go on. And so to, like we've said numerous times, living in a speculative world, don't like to do that. So I think now that we've gotten past it and we have the timetable like Justice was talking about, it gives you maybe a little bit of sense of relief of what they saw and what they were able to do.
Do you think you guys are a little more able to, because you brought in guys that have been around, the group's able to maybe more handle this better than had this been a year ago or to somebody notable 2 years ago, whoever it might have been?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's the depth that we've talked about. Even though we're only 8 or 9 games into the season, we've brought in veteran players. So there's a couple different points. We brought in veteran players who are not only able to handle those conversations in the clubhouse with their teammates and with their peers of how we move forward. And then the second thing is we just have more talent depth than we've had before, because we brought in guys and because we've had guys that have played in the big leagues. I mean, usually we were always bringing guys to the big leagues that it was their debut. I mean, we had how many debuts last year? Now we're getting people that have been in the big leagues before.
Shelton, what are the expectations for Mark Mathias, and do you view Mark as a long-term solution for at least the duration that Oneil's out?
Well, I think we've seen Mark hit. I mean, he's hit at AAA level. He hit last year when he went to Texas, in the big leagues a little bit. And to say moving forward what's going to happen, I can't tell you that. I mean, he's going to get some reps. I mean, we're going to get some left-handed pitching. We're going to get a situation to get him in there. He can play second. He can play both corners. He's played third a little bit in AAA, so we'll kind of find out from there. But we like the bat, and that's why we acquired him.
Shelton was talking to a couple of guys, and they brought up the point that nobody really even expected you guys to be where you're at right now, play the type of ball you are, but sort of the positive stuff. Do you think that plays into the Oneil thing at all where, you know, somebody might look at it and say the offense is gonna crumble, and maybe you guys take it personally and have a point to prove even without it?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you get around professional players, they take things personally. You know, they take it as like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, show you that you know, we're better than people think we are. And I think that's just a pride thing. And it was really important with the group of veterans that we brought in, that they had that mindset, and they had the mindset of getting better and making sure that not only we got better on the field, but we got better in the clubhouse. So yeah, I do think that's true.
Shelton, to follow up on the Mathias question, is the bat what stood out to you, his ability to hit left-handed pitching, or is it kind of him as a hitter overall? What about his bat deal?
Yeah, his ability to hit. I mean, just overall his ability to hit. So I think that's something that when we acquired him, our pro scouting group really liked.
Jody Bryan is the National League Player of the Week. I know you've been asked about him, but what is it that's in your mind that's just from a hitting standpoint that's led to this start?
Yeah, it's been really good. You know, that's good scouting by me right there. I think the ability to swing at the right pitches. I mean, even yesterday, I mean, he damn near squared up 3 balls, and I mean, he's right on things. So I think that's the big thing. I do think, you know, the fact that we've lengthened our lineup out helps him too. There's not as much pressure on him, and when you take pressure off that and you give him pitches to hit, he's going to do some damage, and I think we've seen that. But I also think it goes back even farther than that. It goes back into the work he put in this offseason with Andy Haynes. I mean, he was with Andy Haynes almost every day in the offseason working, and we're seeing the fruits of that. And, you know, in spring training, he was making sure that his swing was in the right spot. He was tinkering with different things, and then they found something they really liked. So I think, you know, that's one of the cool things. That's where we're at this point. And one of the cool things today, when Patrick called me and told me that he did it and said, hey, how do you want to do this? I had Andy call him. I let Andy tell him. You know, I think that's, you know, maybe I'm a little sensitive to being a hitting coach on that, but, you know, you bust your ass with the guy all winter long and he wins it the first week of the season. I think that was a pretty cool call for Andy to be able to make.